everyone, and welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by LawSeco. So, today we will discuss two articles in a newspaper analysis. The first is from The Hindu, which is titled as A Stronger Mental Health Strategy. So, this talks about the importance of the mental health and that how we should not be losing our focus upon developing the mental health and what can be a good strategy to have a good mental health for all the people in the country. The second article is from the Indian Express, which is titled as Not by Blood or Law Alone. So, this talks about the various children that have been orphaned due to the COVID-19. They have lost their parents, and what plight are they going through currently, and what can be the solutions to this problem has been discussed here. So, my name is Sheva Khan, and I am a law graduate and had completed my law degree in the year 2019. I have been a national debater and a public speaker, and here at LawSeco, I'm working as current affairs expert and manager for free content and outreach. If you wish to find me or connect with me, you can always find me on Twitter as well as my LinkedIn handles. The links to both are available in the description box below. Let's see what is the multiple choice question from yesterday's discussion. Buddhadev Karmaskar versus State of West Bengal is related to. Your options are rights of sex workers, custodial debts, right to privacy, or right to internet? If you know the answer, you can put it down in the comment section below. This is the descriptive question of the day. Why do you think that mental health is a very crucial aspect of overall human development? What steps has the government taken to enhance the focus on mental health? You can write down this answer in a word limit of maximum 250 to 300 words. Let's get started with our discussion of the first article of the day, which talks about a stronger mental health strategy. So, as per the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, there is a 10 to 25-year life expectancy reduction in patients with mental disorders. And India introduced the National Mental Health Policy in the year 2014, and it's a rights-based mental health care act in 2017. So, as we know that these days, maybe it's easier to focus on the physical ailments or any problem that we have in our physical body. But many a times, we fail to address any kinds of issues that we have with our mental health. There are a lot of reasons attached to it. For example, if we have pain in any of the body parts, or we get hurt in any body part, or we have a wound, it is clearly visible to the naked eyes. Anybody that looks at us can get to know that we are hurt or we are feeling pain. But that unfortunately is not the case with the mental problems. Now, these mental problems could range from even, a small kind of stress or even to large kinds of depressions as well. So what happens is that because nothing is at present or on the face is not available, that's why it becomes difficult for even us to understand and address it. Now, the next problem comes is that even if we understand that we have any issue with our mental health, then it is not easy for us to accept it. The problem is that we in India specifically think that anything that is attached to a mental problem is something to become with insane. But definitely that is not the case. Many a times due to our lifestyle or whatever, stress that we are going through, it is very much possible and natural that we go through some kind of mental stress, and thus we feel highly, drained out through the mental health. And that is why accepting this as another issue is not a problem at all. And that is why the WHO says that it is expected that 10 to 25 years of life expectancy is reduced in the patients that suffer with any kind of mental disorders. And in India, we had the National Mental Health Policy in the year 2014, and then we had the Mental Healthcare Act in 2017. So if we talk about the National Mental Health Policy, so we have that. Then we have the National Health Mission, National Adolescent Health Program, and Ayushman Bharat. So all of these schemes, as we know, are very famous schemes that aim and that work in the direction of health. But we should be happy about the fact that these not only involve the physical aspects of the health, but also have the important components of addressing the mental health as well. So, if we try to understand a few facts related to the mental health, so studies have shown that the median mental health spending across the world is 2% of the total government expenditure. Now, can you understand that how minimal is it? Because as we know that we say that brain is the most important thing that drives the body of the human. Brain is the one that decides for us. Brain is the one that makes us feel alive. And even in such situation, anything or any kind of stress that we feel on the brain, we are not ready to invest enough into this, and definitely that should be cured. In India, the share of mental hospitals per 1 lakh population is as low as 0.01. So, can you just imagine the condition? This shows us that how poorly have we been able to accept this issue of mental health, that out of 1 lakh hospitals we have for the mental health, we have only as per 0.01 of the seats or beds are available. So the lack of focused attention on mental health as compared to the other medical issues has actually caused this problem to aggravate to huge levels. See, what happens is that not any person all of a sudden becomes mad or goes insane or falls into deep depression. It starts with one very small curable stage. Just because we're not ready to accept it or we do not get it diagnosed in the right time, this actually ranges and this increases with time, and thus people get to a stage wherein they commit suicide as well, being the victims of depression. So, in most industrialized economies, there has been a growth of community healthcare facilities in line with the increases in patients with mental health issues. And we should accept the fact that as and when we are growing faster, the more the developed country, the faster its economy, more are the people under stress. And that is why we should be giving equal attention to the mental health care as well. Now, let's understand that what actually is the mental illness that we are talking about in here. It includes anxiety disorders, psychotic disorders, mood disorders, substance use disorders, etc. Now, all other things, as you understand, the anxiety, psychotic disorders, and mood disorders, substance use disorders is when people many a times take the resort or they start taking any kind of substances. Now, these could be any kind of drugs, drinks, etc., in order to feel better, or what at least they think that they are feeling better in. Then the major suicides in the world are connected to psychiatric disorders, because obviously when a person commits suicide, definitely he is not in good mental shape, because he thinks lost, he thinks he's a victim, or he thinks that he has no courage to live the life further, and that is why he takes the resort of committing suicide. Then in developing countries, these problems are looked at as major, as the increase in the communicable and non-communicable diseases are major, and that is why and these diseases actually are considered as minor. So the mental health problems, they're considered as minor, wherein other communicable and non-communicable diseases are considered to be quite major. Even if we take example of COVID-19, so people have to had they had to face huge economic crunch. Then they had to stay away from their families. They also, many people turned positive and they had to fight the virus. So of course, the ailments of the communicable disease as the COVID-19 are very much evident, that we have breathlessness, we're not able to breathe, we face problem, we feel weak and everything. But have we also focused enough that how much mental toll has it taken, this COVID-19, how much mentally has it harassed the people? Though there were some articles in the initial days of COVID-19 which addressed that it has definitely harmed the mental health of the people, but nothing significant has been done in this direction as yet. And the situation is worse in southern states as compared to the northern states due to modernization, urbanization, etc. Because as we know that the life cycle over there, the work culture over there is very hectic. And as compared to the northern areas where we have agriculture, we have seas and other kinds of things that help in bringing down the mental stress. So the southern states are even worse performing in this area. So, if we talk about the few measures that we can take to address this issue, so the mental health issues can be addressed in India. They can be reduced by the treatment, by reducing the treatment gap and increasing the number of personnel who are working in the mental health, like for example, the psychiatrists, the psychologists, etc. Then we should work towards reducing discriminatory attitudes and have an integrated approach. We should increase the counseling facilities, especially in the rural areas, because there people mostly are not able to understand that they are going through some mental stress, and that is why some counselors should be available in the rural areas as well. And we should have more need of telemedicine and telephone based treatments, specifically in the times of COVID-19, wherein through video calls and Zoom conferences as well, the doctors can approach, or the patients can approach the doctors in case of any need. And we need a more comprehensive policy for creating awareness through education systems and social media, wherein we need to understand and let people understand as well that having any kind of mental problem is not a taboo at all. Just the way we can have fever, stomach ache, and other physical problems, similarly, mental health is also a common problem, and thus it should not be considered to be something that we should be ashamed of, or we should not be telling people. So that is a very important step in the right direction. So if we discuss the next article of the day, it talks about not by blood or by law alone. Basically, it talks about the adoption of the children that have orphaned due to the COVID-19. So the second wave of the COVID-19 has left many children in India orphaned and vulnerable. And there are around 30 million abandoned or orphaned children in the country. Because as we know, many children have lost their parents to COVID-19, and many other children, they have been abandoned because the parents maybe, they're way too poor and they will not be able to take care of the expense of the children, keeping in mind the economic crunch the country has been going through. So if the child is born in a low income household, their options for getting a decent upbringing are reduced, as they are just put in local shelter homes, as the relatives of such families cannot afford the expenditure of their children. So what happens is that, for example, the parents of both the parents of the children have died, and now even the relatives of that particular children are very poor and they are not able to afford, let's say, the education, healthcare, or other expenditures of the children. So what they resort to do is that they just move to the local shelter homes, which hardly they care of that whether they are in proper condition or not, or whether not they would be able to give good facilities to the children or not. So they just are left in the local shelter homes, which ultimately ruins their future in the coming times. So the foster care is a system wherein parents legally adopt the children and handle their upbringing. But the problem with India specifically is that the process of getting, denied the foster care is on the basis of economic threshold, which is ethically wrong and legally revolting. Because many a times, the parents also, they do not want to foster children. They want, children maybe who belong to good families, to economically affluent families. And even this is a problem that the process of shelter homes in India or adoption has become so cumbersome that parents many a times, they step back, keeping in mind that how much, they will have to get involved and how difficult will it be to get the process entirely done. So putting them in the local shelter homes are scary because they are overcrowded and under-resourced as well. And many a times, if you remember that in the news channels also, we have seen that many a times the trafficking of children also takes place through these shelter homes, because obviously they know that there is no parent or there is nobody to take care of these children, and nobody will be asking if any of the children get, missed as well. So that is why these people, these hawkers, they many a times take disadvantage of this situation as well. Now, here is a twofold challenge in the adoption system in the India. The adoption process is so long, as we just discussed, and tedious that most of them lose out on the facility following the process, because the parents, it becomes very difficult for them to actually adopt the children, keeping in mind that how difficult and tedious and cumbersome this process is in the country. So the total adoptions as per CARA is as low as 3,000 to 4,000 children on a yearly basis. CARA basically stands for Central Adoption Resource Authority, which actually runs under the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and it takes care of the adoptions that are done in the country. And can you imagine that even after having lakhs and lakhs of children who are orphaned and need to be adopted, only approximately 3,000 to 4,000 children are adopted on a yearly basis? Then also there is a reluctance visible in various families because of the lifelong commitment and enforceable legal rights of the adopted children. Because obviously, the adoption process is not easy, and even the things, or the story after the adoption isn't easy either. And that is why many times the parents think that it will be really difficult to keep and abide by all the guidelines or all the legal rights that the the adopted children had to have to be given. And that is why many times they step back in this direction. Now, here are a few measures that can, be done or that are needed in this direction. The foster care, it could be a solution to this problem, as it can offer a better and flexible approach compared to shelter homes and adoption, when people, parents and families can directly come forward to take care of the children instead of the shelter homes altogether. Then it provides a stronger security system for the child through regular follow-ups and the child's well-being by the authorities. Then there is a great merit in supporting foster families, as the state authorities will ensure the financial aid. Basically, in the foster families, what happens is that, for example, I take the responsibility to foster a child. So I will be, taking care of the child to take him to various places, his entertainment, education, recreation, taking care of the basic needs of the child. But the financial, burden does not fall on me. Basically, it is the government that takes the financial government. It gives me the financial aid, and I only have to decide that where I need to spend the money. And that is why this actually puts the child in a better position, because here Greater focus can be laid upon an individual child, wherein the parent or the foster home people can take care of the expenses of the child. But then again, many situations it has been seen that the people who agree to foster children, they try to misuse the money that was actually given for the betterment of the children. They use it for their own personal reasons, and they do not treat these children properly. So definitely it is important that the authorities, they do follow-ups, regular follow-ups, and with time and again they keep the checking up that whether or not the children are being kept properly in the foster homes or not. So this will avoid a situation wherein economically weaker families that can ensure growth of the child in a similar environment can foster a child and leave lesser orphan children, and that is why the economically weaker sections, of the families can take this financial aid from the government and can very easily foster children. And thus there is a need for a stronger policy on the foster care, wherein a greater and a tighter hold can be laid upon these foster families so that they do not misuse the money or the aid given by the government, and also they do not ill treat the children as well. So this was all for the day. We hope it was a good and informative session for you all. If you like this discussion, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel for never missing an update in the future. Thank you so much.